white lotus roots, and green leaves, and red flowers. These three things come from one. Three religions come from one. Three religions come to Bai Lian Jiao. The different branches of White Lotus society are the same. Few people can understand and get attainment. If someone gets attainment, he will help thousands of others to get attainment. 3 times go to the Dragon Lotus meeting to get attainment if you have faith to do something great. Tao and Buddhism and lay people say the same things. The only difference is who is understanding and who is not understanding. The Tao school adepts and the Buddha school adepts understand and get achievement. Normal people just lose themselves. This Dragon Lotus scripture appeared now to help the people who have faith to follow the route and decide to get attainment. It's such a pity when a big disaster comes, but people don't know they will suffer in this big disaster. If disaster comes, don't blame a Buddha for not helping you. You have to realize that you didn't follow the rules. People just believe the wrong things and enjoy sensory pleasures and think too many useless things. Even if you give someone the book and tell him the truth, he will not want to listen. People's hearts are not good, and they only think about money, and the result is going to hell. If you want to return to heaven, it's impossible. If you really listen to what the Buddhists say, you have to immediately try to change yourself and to follow the truth. When you're thinking about change, it's good. If you have a good teacher to guide you, it will be great. Open the 3 lockers and you will find the truth. The colorful lotus will bloom and you can see the truth. When you get attainment, you can go back to the mother. When you get to the mother's place, there's no more suffering and everything is wonderful. This is why you have to learn the White Lotus scripture. White Lotus society thinks the world has 3 periods of time. One period of time was the beginning of this world's creation. This is the first meeting. The second period is the time of Lao Jun. The third period is the time of the Buddha. The fourth period of time, which we are having now, belongs to the Milefo. First, we were with the Great Mother. Then, Lao Jun taught the second part of the White Lotus scripture. Then Buddha Shakyamuni taught the third. Finally, Milepo will teach the fourth. We can be a part of these four. Buddhists and Taoists have made many books and scriptures to teach people. But everything is concentrated in the White Lotus. Every Buddha from the beginning comes to the White Lotus meeting. At the very beginning of the world, everything was mixed. Then things began to separate into yin and yang. At the beginning of the world, there was nothing there. It was very empty, and there were no people. Wuxing Laomu, the Great Mother, used 9,000 bright lights to create human beings. She created the colorful world and hoped people would be good and come back to her early. She didn't suspect that the people she created would be lost in sensory enjoyment and would never want to go back and be lost in endless suffering. This cycle of suffering is such a pity. Wuxing Laomu thought of herself as a mother and wished that her sons and daughters would come back home. And so she sent Taishan Lao Jun to help the people. After Taishan Lao Jun first taught the White Lotus, Wuxing sent another, Buddha Shakyamuni, to the earth as a prince to teach the second part of the White Lotus. Buddha taught people in India and helped 2 billion people get attainment and return to their mother. This is the second White Lotus. Now is the last period of time, and good and bad are mixed. There are many types of suffering. The mother feels very sad and wanted to help the people, so she sent 24 Jinrin to this world to help people return. The mother will send back Lao Jun, who will be born into a poor family and will become the head of the society in the north and help the Milepo to manage this world. Lao Jun will come to the earth and do much hard work to help the people. If you don't have faith, you cannot become enlightened. After you become enlightened, you also have to have faith to help other people. So having faith is very important and is the first step to getting attainment. You have to make a name first, and then go to the Cloud City and have a White Lotus meeting. If you give the right answer, you can get in the Cloud City. The way to make a name is you first come to the earth and become a person, and then you get the White Lotus and return to the Mother. The top level of enlightenment is 4 flowers above the head, and you can sit with Wuxing Laomu. The middle level of enlightenment is 3 silver flowers above the head, and you can sit beside Wuxing Lao Mu. The lowest level of enlightenment is 2 jade flowers above the head, and you can stand beside Wuxing Lao Mu. The people who don't have the Tao cannot get in the Cloud City. They cannot get out of the circle of life and death. The people who do good things and who get good results can have a name or long life, or go to the White Lotus meeting. The people who do nothing will get nothing. A truly enlightened person can go to Cloud City, but a person who is not enlightened has no chance. When the Milefo gets down to earth, he will protect the righteous, and evil cannot hide from him. The real and the fake are mixed. You cannot tell which one is fake and which is real. Justice and evil is mixed in the human world. If you don't realize the teacher in the future, disaster will find you. It's such a pity that people don't know who's real. They treat the real like fakes, and treat fakes like real. People should know this time the Milefo will come to the east to help people. According to the scriptures, you can tell which one is real and which one is bad. The real Buddha can sacrifice themselves and never worry about material benefits. They follow the law and keep themselves in the right way. Some fake Buddhas pursue benefits for themselves. They teach people that they can do everything. People follow the fake Buddha and don't follow the right way. Doing bad will never allow one to return to the mother, and you can never become enlightened. Now, there are 3 religions sent down. The White Lotus is the standard against which things can be tested. A person with good morals can return to Wuxing Lao Mu. The following sentences talk about which people should do which job. A government person should do government business. A farmer should do farmer's business. A woman should be a woman. And everybody should do things according to their position. If people take care of their responsibilities in the right way, they can say that they have made an effort to escape the circle of life and death at the White Lotus meeting. When the ancient Buddha was ordered to make a White Lotus meeting, Wuxing Lao Mu sat on the lotus and sent down 3 religions to the White Lotus meetings. 3 periods of teachers. They passed the teachings one by one. All of the teachers who taught the law came to help the people by setting up the scriptures and the teachings. The White Lotus Society was delivered into many places and created many branches to help people understand the truth. When the end of these 3 periods of time comes, the White Lotus teacher will get a golden boat to sail on this ocean of suffering, to help the people who have followed the way. Those who have not followed the way cannot be helped. Yin and Yang are mixed together. They come together at the home of Wuxing Laomu. When Laomu sent orders to all the enlightened beings, they came down to earth and made the White Lotus to help women and men get back to their original home. If the leaders respect the White Lotus, the whole kingdom will be peaceful. There will be enough to eat, and there will not be any war. Other countries will not make war against them. In this peaceful country, everywhere is a place to make people learn the White Lotus teachings. Everyone will follow after the master teacher. The teachers have come down to this world to help the people who have lost their way from their old home with the Great Mother. But some people cannot tell the real from the fake. So even though someone comes to help them, they will miss this chance. The Master asks the leaders to believe in the White Lotus teaching. There are many people who cannot escape the circle of birth and death because their heart is always chasing material benefits. In the last period of these 4 eras, Milefo will have the power of the sun and the moon. The Milefo will come from the original heaven. He will come to this human world, and at a very young age, he will decide to be great and follow the White Lotus teachings and follow the truth. Finally, he will attain full enlightenment of the truth of life and begin to spread the truth to the people. Even though the Milefo will come to this world, many people will still not realize their chance to meet that sent person. The ancient Buddhas will be transferred into the Milefo's body and will make the old become young. Many people will not understand and will laugh at the Milefo. He is hiding amongst the people and waiting for the chance to change the world. Walk and separate the truth around the way. The Milefo will come to the world, and all religions will follow. When his time arrives, the kings and leaders should understand, and all religions must return to their root. Once, Confucius walked around and spread the truth, and many people followed him, one by one. Walking door to door, he taught the people the truth. This is the real way for an enlightened person to help the people in the world. Just one word can help many people. If you do this job time after time, one town to another town, one person to another person, one person can help 1,000 people become enlightened. If people misunderstand and don't know that this is the end of the world, how can you help them? Also, the leaders must wake up and come to follow the truth. If you don't believe in the Great Mother, you must first read the Scriptures. And if you are at least a good person and follow the traditional ways, you will find a good teacher before the great disaster and return to your original home. The Milefo will come to this world to help the people, but the people will not recognize who he is. They always complain that they are suffering and someone is rich and they are poor. They cannot even see who the Milefo is. When the time arrives, the door of heaven and hell will open. The good will go home and the bad will go down. It's such a terrible disaster for them. Good people will clearly see Milefo. In this world, you should be careful everywhere. You should follow the true one. If you follow the phony, you are following evil. The Mother is working hard to help people. Also, the leaders must be able to distinguish between the real and the phony and follow the righteous way, so that when the time arrives, they can escape the circle of life and death in an upright way. You must eliminate all of your desires. If you ask for nothing, you will become enlightened. Women can become like Lao Mu. Men will be like Lao Jun. When the time arrives, all of the enlightened people will get on one boat and come to the mountain to help the people who have a predestined relationship with them. Once you get on the boat, you will go back to your old home. When the world-ending disaster comes, the ancient enlightened people already have a boat, and everything is ready to help enlightened people get on the boat. Just imagine that there is a big boat. Every Buddha and Tao and God control this boat and set it down into the suffering of the world. When the disaster comes, there is one who will come out. He will write in the book of heaven to help the people be rescued from this disaster and return to their mother's home and enjoy happiness forever. The Milefo will get an order from the old mother, and other religions should follow the White Lotus. Lao Jun will be transferred into the Milefo to write down this scripture to help people. If people miss this chance, they will stay in the cycle of life and death. The people must do good and learn this scripture in a hurry. Once you miss this chance, you will never get back this human body. You will be lost in this endless circle of life and become different types of animals. This is such a chance that you must not miss. People must learn the truth and not spend money on something useless. To learn the truth costs nothing materially. Inside is such wonderful understanding. With 5 open eyes, you can see the universe. You can see the future, and you can see the truth. If people understand this scripture, It doesn't matter whether man or woman, they can avoid this big disaster and get out of the circle of death and birth and keep their mind and heart in peace and empty. In the end is emptiness. If everyone believes in the truth and has strong faith, then everybody can have a Buddha's heart. Then hell will become heaven. The world can become such a wonderful world. In this final part of time, the White Lotus comes back to the world to help people. You should follow the Scripture and copy the Scripture to tell others. This is very good for you. If you don't have a book, you can tell others by mouth. Just do everything you can to help others. If people don't believe, they will end so badly. Every family should have one White Lotus book and burn incense and read the Scripture together and respect the Mother and the three masters. In the end, they will return to the Great Mother. There are 3 disasters and 8 difficulties. What are the difficulties? Flooding, drought, failed harvests, hunger, sickness, bad insects, bad animals, and bad ghosts. These are the 8 difficulties. The 3 disasters are fire, water, and wind. You should copy this Scripture and give it to others. This Scripture was passed down to the human world by the Old Mother to help people at the end of the world escape disaster. Good and bad are mixed. The bad people are in control, and this Scripture will be hidden in a temple until the difficult time. Some bad people have damaged this and have broken the temple, so they will see this Scripture, and this Scripture can help people at the end of the world. Just wait a couple of years, a couple of months, a couple of days, and a couple of hours, and it's time to change. Buddha is the Mother, and the Mother is Buddha. The Buddha will come to this world and suffer. He sacrifices his body and sacrifices everything to change this world, to help the good people return to their Mother. All the branches of religions should not be separated now. They must return to the root. Women and men should decide to believe. All the religions don't tell you the truth about good and bad. They must all return to the root. In the future, the head of the White Lotus, this person should not be in the government. They should not be a king or a prince. They should also not be in the temple or the church. In the future, the Milefo won't look like a Buddhist monk or a Taoist monk. He will wear a cheap hat and will not be born in a temple. He will come from the house of a poor family. You should not follow after money or believe in material things. They look like enjoyment, but really aren't. When you get money or such things, you don't really have them. When the big disaster comes, you will lose your body and lose your life. How can you use this money without your body or your life? So it's better that you don't have this desire to follow after material things.